Now, it seems to me that we live in a world, here in this country, divided between those who live by the gym, by diet, by all manner of focus on the body beautiful, and those who are eating, drinking and salad dodging their way towards early oblivion. Is there a happy medium, I ask myself? Is there a middle ground that ensures general health and well-being without the process taking over our lives? Joining me now is someone who really does have the kind of answers I'm looking for. Diana Moran, Green Goddess of my youth.
Oh,
I remember you so
such a young
well.
Boy.
Yeah, just a lad. But I remember you so clearly from breakfast television and all of that. So I was the right age to be. I'm fully plugged into who you are. And it's a real treat to have you here in the studio rather than trapped in one of the boxes on the screen. So thanks for being with us. What is the secret? You've acquired wisdom, throughout your life. What is the secret to that kind of well-being?
Moderation in all things.
It's that simple.
I really, really do mean that. Don't be excessive about exercise. Don't be excessive about food. And don't be excessive about all of this as well. Honestly, it really is moderation in all things.
We were talking with the previous guest. I've really noticed, I've known for years, how many of the general population are very big.
Do you know, Neil, I'm absolutely appalled at the minute, and I begin to think, where did I go wrong in the start of breakfast time in the 80s? We're just about to celebrate 40 years of starting breakfast time.
Yeah.
And I was so conscious then of people's shape. And if you saw somebody who was overweight, you thought, now, is that a genetic thing, or is it because of some medications, steroids or something they're taking? So you made a slight excuse. But the rest of the people in front of you were generally of a good weight. OK, they probably were a bit out of shape and they weren't as energetic as they should be. But I've just come back from a working cruise and I've just been somewhat appalled that the people who were on it were aged, shall we say, 55, 60 to my sort of age, the 80s and the likes of. And my goodness me, what a lot of them were obese. Let's be honest, they were obese.
And there has been this insidious process by which being that size has become not
normal.
Just normalised, but we're actually being preached at that it's somehow a desirable state to be vastly overweight.
It isn't. All those years ago, and I'm sure you girls were the same, when you were younger, you would look and you would see sort of, how am I doing? And if you had put a bit of excess weight on, then you'd make certain that you changed your eating habit a little bit or got a bit more exercise and the likes of. Now, it doesn't seem to matter to many people. I can't get my head into their head to look at themselves in a mirror and think, why don't they want to do something about it?
I think also the problem is that we're not allowed to confront people with things anymore because you might offend them when you've got to be body positive.
I've probably just done it.
I've got a friend of mine, he's a very, very large guy. He's kind of obese and large, and he's having some health issues. And not one of the doctors that he's gone to has said to him, you're fat, you need to lose weight.
Really?
That language is not allowed to be used anymore. But why, if it's going to save his life and help him get well?
Well, in fact, you're just saying it. It'll help save his life and or other medical problems as he gets older. Mm-hmm. But then what worries me is that these younger people who aren't well, who are they going to look after? Who's going to look after you when you get a bit older? Who's going to look after me, a grandmother, when I'm even older? Because they won't be well enough to look after us.
What about, is there your solution there about moderation in all things from a nutritional point of view, but is there a simple solution to exercise and that kind of fitness? Because we're also bombarded, in the same way that we're bombarded with fad diets and all the information about nutrition and the rest, there's a million different ways to keep fit. There's one fashion after another. What is your simple, button-down mind approach to that, just keeping well?
As far as I'm concerned, one needs to keep active. And if you've got an active body, the chances are you've got an active brain as well. I mean, the simplest thing, go for a walk. Take the dog for a walk. And, the minute you go for a walk, you see somebody else, you go, hello, and before you know it,
Why?
you've got a mental thing going on.
Why do people go on treadmills in gyms? I can't.
Why do they do what?
Go on treadmills in gyms rather than go for a walk.
Boring can that be?
What's that? Do you do that?
No, I swim.
I think sometimes it's a time thing. People think, well, I'm going to go to the gym, I'm going to do this, this and this, and I'm going to get out. But you're completely right. The best way to stay well is to keep constantly active. Just move more. And that in itself, which people stopped moving, they stopped walking places. Everyone gets buses and cabs and Ubers and whatever, and they don't walk enough.
Well, this is what I feel. I was brought up in the country. I'm Somerset born and bred, my dear. And we didn't have parents to take us to school. We had our Wellington boots on and we walked over fields and up dark lanes and went to school. We were active, naturally active all the time. There wasn't an alternative and we didn't grumble because we didn't know anything different.
But it's so... It's as though it's something that we've taught ourselves, that we've educated ourselves out of. I mean, I read all the time about sitting being the new smoking. You know, that we've developed these sedentary lifestyles, and so many people, you sit, I do it too, I sit and write, you know, I sit looking at a screen, and I've become aware that I've been sitting down sometimes for, 3 and 4 hours at a stretch.
Well, then that's your first mistake. OK to sit down and get intrigued with something on the telly or some music.
I'm talking about working.
But get up every now and again.
What about a standing desk? Is there any virtue in that?
I've got a standing desk.
And does it work for you?
It certainly does. If I'm writing books, and I do write books, and I'm there for ages and ages, moving from one foot to another, standing there with the computer at a good height, not down there somewhere, I find that wonderful. Looking into the garden, talking to the cat, all that.
Does it change your thought process? Does it change the way that you
Yes, it does. And the sun shines and suddenly the writing becomes a bit easier again than stuck there.
Julie, it's ironic, isn't it, that we've developed so much about, we know so much, or there's so much information about diet and so much information about exercise, and yet we're all eating the wrong things and we're not taking enough exercise.
Exactly.
It's counterintuitive.
I think also technology. People have Fitbits now. Have you noticed? I go swimming and I notice people stand at the side for 10 minutes doing this and then they get out and you think, well, you've just been looking at that and you haven't been swimming. Why not just get in the pool and swim or go to the walk and swim? You don't have to look at this telling you because you spend most of your time prodding it than doing, It
feels like we've got too much information, too much knowledge, too many choices, and everyone's just kind of trapped in an uncertainty about what to do, so they just have something else to eat.
And also that's sort of uncomfortable and unpleasant having to do that. Why not just get out in the garden? Why not join a football club or a tennis club or something? Be active with other people and get that enjoyment, not sort of, I've got to do this jog and, how's my pulse rate?
Yeah.
Diana Moran, it's been absolutely lovely to meet you in person, and what I love most of all is common sense, and you radiate above all else absolute common sense about all of the subjects that you're interested in and that I'm interested in.
I do have a website of common sense. It's called keepfitandcarryon.com.
Excellent.
Common sense.
Everyone go there.